Hey, welcome back everybody to another Divi theme tutorial. My name is Alex. In this video we are going to talk about an aspect I think that gets overlooked quite a bit by a lot of developers when building sites in Divi, and that is the use of the active module preset. And the reason that it's so important is because in the future, if you ever want to add things or create new pages or add more elements to existing pages, it will allow you to do that very quickly and maintain all of your styling and your branding instead of creating one and then trying to match up all your different font sizes and things like that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I've got a page set up here with the 4 modules that I find my team and I most commonly use on pages, and that's a text module, a button module, an image module, and a blurb module. In both of my agencies, we always set these right from the jump. When we first create a website, before anything is added, we set our module presets on these 4 modules. Now, if you find yourself using other modules from Divi or even third-party developers regularly, such as like a breadcrumbs module or perhaps some type of slider module, then you may want to include that in your process as well. But here's the way that I like to do it. So let's start with the text module. I like to put in all 6 heading levels plus some text with a link. That way I can kind of see what's happening here. And if I look on this side, you'll see here's all my headings. Alright, so let's jump right into it. I start with the text. I'm going to set this to DM Sans, and you'll notice that I've turned off all my Google fonts. I do that for reasons I talk about in another video, and I'm hosting 2 Google fonts that we're going to use on this website, but I'm hosting them locally on the server and serving them from the server. And so if you're not familiar with how to do that, definitely check out this video, or check out that video rather. Alright, so actually for my text I'm going to use Roboto Flex. Regular is fine. We'll set our text color maybe to 656565. Text size, I'm going to use 1 REM and maybe like 1.5 EM. You can even use clamp here if you prefer to use clamp for your font sizes. That's a little bit outside the reach of this video, so I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to keep it simple, but I'll probably do a video on that in the future. It just allows you to make more fluid text font sizes. When you get into smaller devices, it allows you to set a minimum font size, the fluid font size, and then also a maximum. And so it's really helpful if you're trying to make text or add text that is going to look great across a variety of devices. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I usually don't set the mobile text size here when I create this, even for the headings, and that's because I'll do this on an individual basis. If I'm not using clamp on a site, if I'm manually setting these, I'll do it based on however long the headline is. So if it's a longer headline than on mobile devices, I'm going to want to have a little bit more control over that. So I'm not going to set that globally. I'm just going to kind of set my default. And actually, I'm going to set this to 1.1. I like a little bit bigger body text size. Okay, so this one looks good. For my link, I usually like to set an underline on it. I think it's just more aesthetically, I think it makes sense on what's a link and what's not. So I like to set an underline, and then I'll scroll down and I'll set my link. I'll set my link color. I'll set it to something brighter here. If we use a darker color and we didn't have an underline, it'd be easy to overlook that as a link. That's why I like to set that for sure, just in case I do want to use a darker color. But I'm going to set this to, we'll set it to this green. We'll do this one. I like that. Okay, let's head to the heading text. DM Sans, extra bold. I'll set it to this blue. And I'm just going to go through these really quickly so I can get to kind of the important parts here. 1, 2, 3. I like to set my header line height to 1.3 EM and my H1 text size to 2.2 REM. Actually, sometimes I'll do 2.25. And then I'll decrease by 0.25 REM on each subsequent one. You don't have to do this. This is just something I do for whatever reason. I don't know why I started doing it this way, but I've just found that it works pretty well as a good starting point, and then I can adjust as needed based on fonts, because different fonts have different kernings and spacings and all that fun stuff. So 1.75, 1, 2, 3, my heading 4. And the reason you want to make sure you set all of these is because that way if you add them in the future, everything will match up. And I do all 6 headings, even though I rarely ever use H5 and H6. Sometimes you do, sometimes it makes sense. And I'd rather have them just set from the beginning instead of then, when I need it, having it not match and then trying to go back and say, okay, what font was I using for the headings? I'm going to do 1.1 REM on this one here. Okay, so that is my text sorted. So then what you do is you click on these 3 vertical dots and you say apply styles to active preset. And it will say this will affect all text modules on your site. Are you sure you want to proceed? So now, if I were to add another text module here, you'll see that all these settings are intact. It matches. And now let's say you want to change it. Maybe down the road you say, hey, you know what, man, I really don't like this link color. Now pay attention, I'm editing this module right here in the corner. And let's say we don't like this link color anymore. We really want it to be brighter. We can come in here and say, okay, let's make the link color this one now. Save it. Whoops. Sorry about that. What we want to do is come down here to edit preset style, design, text. We'll change the link color to this one. Now look, this text module over here changed. I'm not editing this one. I'm editing this one down here. But I'm editing the preset. So I'll hit save. You've made changes to the text module preset. This will affect all text modules across your entire site. Do you wish to proceed? Yes. So any text module that doesn't have a different one already set, if you're overriding it, then it will still override the active presets. But if you don't, if it's using the default, then it will be affected like you saw this one was. Alright, so the next one I like to do is blurb. I like to set my blurbs to H3s. We're using DM Sans, ultra bold. We're using this color. And again, this can be whatever you want. I like to set these to 1.5. And then on this particular site, actually let me do the body text too. Oh, I've already got this one set from earlier. Okay, cool. I think this color's a different one. Yeah, 5.4. I think I used 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. There we go. And then I'm going to set my image. For this particular design, I'm going to do 16 pixels rounded. But this would be great because I use blurbs so often in sites. So I always like to make sure, I set these. And then images I don't really do too much to unless I know for sure. One thing that I always do is I always change the alignment to center. I always do that for every image. And then for the border, for this particular site, we're going to have rounded edges on our border, so I'll do that. Apply styles to active preset. And the other helpful thing is, when you onboard other team members that are going to be helping you, if that's the route that you go and you decide to, have an agency and scale your agency and have people working for you, you know that when they go to add content, it's going to match what you're already doing. They're not going to have to figure it out, even if they weren't around when the site was originally built. So that's another great thing here. Let's start with the spacing. I'm going to do a little bit taller buttons, 2 EM. 2 EM, and then I like to have the icon slide out, and I like the little animation expanding effect that those buttons have, so I'm going to set it so when I hover on the right, yeah, I get 3, and you can tell I've had this set up before. Button, custom styles, we'll do 1. Text color I'll set to this white color, background, blue color, and then when I hover over it, we'll set a hover so it'll be black, so it'll start blue, and then when it gets hovered, it'll pop out to black like that. I'm going to get rid of the border width, so the border color doesn't matter because there's no border width. Radius, I'll do 50 pixels, that way I get this nice kind of pill shaped. By the way, that's another little thing, you don't have to really kind of play around with this, to see what it goes, or how much border that you get. If you're looking for the pill shape, it's always going to be 50 pixels. And then if you want a rounded button, like let's say it was equal, we're trying to make a circle button, and we knew that the width and height were the same, we could just do 50%. But since this is not even, it's going to give us this weird oval shape. So I'm going to do 50 pixels because I want this nice kind of like rounded pill shape for the button. For the font, we'll do DM Sans, caps, yeah, semi-bold, sure. The icon color I want to be white. Excellent. Now we'll apply styles to active preset. There we go, done deal. And then now, the other thing I like to do when I'm doing this is I will also go into the theme builder while this is still fresh in my mind, and I will also set up a layout here for posts. I don't need this footer. Global footer, there we go. I will also set up a custom body for posts while all these text settings are fresh in my mind, which you'll see that I've already done here. That way everything matches, you know, when I go to add a new post. We'll wait for this to save here. Alright, that's all there is for this video. If you have any questions, definitely let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video.